the San Francisco 49ers is easily top 5 greatest franchises in NFL history, and 49ers faithful, great 49ers faithful, spread all around the world. As we've seen, by the way, on this relatively small YouTube channel, even so many people from around the world tuning into 49ers related content. And the NFL, of course, has to take notice. Yesterday, the NFL bet even harder on the 49ers this year. I'm excited to tell you about what it is and break it down for you. It is weirdly interesting. And later in the video, I'll be breaking down some new comments from Kyle Shanahan on how the offense will be setting up this year with new additions at wide receiver and tight end. It's going to be a lot to break down, and I'm looking forward to doing it with you. If you're new here, I'm Nate. We are talking the San Francisco 49ers every single day on this channel, so please consider hitting that subscribe button because we love talking 49ers. Well, the awesome news to break the video open is the NFL wants more 49ers on national television despite doing some controversial things, I think, to make it dramatic, picking the 49ers for another national broadcast week 2 of preseason. There's a surprising amount to break down on that. So firstly, the NFL bet on the 49ers when they put together a season with, count them, 6 prime time football games. That tells you what the league thinks about your team, obviously. 2 Monday Night Football games, 2 Thursday Night Football games, 2 Sunday Night Football games. And if you remember, it's been a while since I've talked about it, but I currently have us pegged at 12-5. I'm tempted. I'm always tempted to go way up on that, but I'm trying to be realistic, if it's at all possible for me to be realistic and not just look through red and gold glasses and say we're going to lose some football games. Guys are going to get injured. Things are not going to go well. I don't know if that means that we're going to be 14-3 or if that means we're going to be 11-6, but I do believe that this team is incredible. I kind of have us pegged as, I don't know, the best football team this season. So hopefully things go in that direction. I like everything that we're doing, but it's easy to get hyped or maybe a little overhyped in the OTAs, in the off season, in signings, in seeing rookies out there on the field when there's really not a whole lot to knock it down. But man, I'm feeling really positive. I'm feeling super positive about this. And nobody, of course, is surprised in that. So yes, the 49ers were bet on by the NFL, giving 6 preseason games. I don't know if you remember this 2 seasons ago, because this can go south. It can. The Denver Broncos was one of the teams, were one of the teams that the NFL bet on when they signed Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson comes in. The team is terrible. Coaching, terrible. Everything about that season, terrible. And the NFL was wrong. They bet on the Broncos to be a primetime team to watch, and the Broncos were not a primetime team to watch. I mean, that was the season. Someone commented recently about Russell Wilson staying on the sideline saying, it's a run play, it's a defensive, it's whatever. Run play, throw play, whatever it was that he was screaming from the sidelines. And that's like, come on, guys. What is this like? Kiddie football? What are we doing here? And then the other embarrassing thing that season was the crowd counting down the play clock because of all of the times that the play got late and the team couldn't snap the ball in time. It was a nasty, nasty season, and the NFL was wrong. They won't be wrong this season with the 49ers. I'm confident of that. Too much talent. It's a well-run organization, well coached. I mean, we're talking top 5 head coach in the NFL, easy. So absolutely, the NFL is smart to bet on the 49ers here. Then they also bet on the 49ers, and they did something kind of controversial, in my opinion, which was giving the 49ers the worst schedule going into the season. Now, that's not in terms of strength of schedule. We're kind of upper middle in terms of strength of schedule, but definitely worse in terms of rest and teams getting rest and facing all of these teams coming off their bye weeks. I mean, there was a lot in that we kind of talked about, and then everyone just focused on OTAs and we kind of all stopped talking about it. And so that's something to think about for sure in terms of the NFL recognizing that the 49ers team can handle that and maybe expecting or hoping probably that there's going to be a little drama in there. Some games that get lost, some games that are super close that shouldn't have been close. Those types of things are going to happen because the 49ers are going to be bouncing around all over the country. They're going to be in cold places for cold games. They're facing teams who are going to be fresh. I mean, there's just going to be some negative there are going to be some things working against the 49ers this year. And I don't think it'll, in the end, matter. I think the 49ers are still going to get through, and I think we have a great opportunity to make a good Super Bowl run. But I would understand why the 49ers, or why the NFL, are betting on the 49ers to be able to handle a little bit of that drama compared to what other teams might do and fold in that situation. So we're talking arguably the best NFL team in football right now. So the NFL has now bet on the 49ers by picking them for national television preseason game. And I know it's preseason, all right? Ian Rappaport covered it. Thank you, Ian. Posted this yesterday that looking at the New Orleans Saints game, preseason, week 2. And I understand it's preseason, but bear with me here and hold on to this because I think you might actually find this interesting. So the 49ers are the second nationally televised game for the NFL this season. The first is the Hall of Fame game, who nobody suits up for. So you've got big name guys like C.J. Stroud. Everybody's talking about C.J. Stroud. Caleb Williams. Everybody's talking about Caleb Williams. Of course, you have DJ Moore, Keenan Allen. You have big name players that are going to be sitting on the sidelines and probably not even suiting up for the Hall of Fame game because it's an extra preseason game. So why would you suit up? And you don't traditionally, typically, I guess I should say, you don't typically dress up for these games. So it's going to be interesting to see, how this kind of plays out, because then the 49ers are kind of the first team that actually have starters on the field, and the Saints, of course, who are actually going to have starters on the field. Yes, it is preseason. Yes, it is week 2. Don't at me in the comments. I know it's preseason. I'm not trying to act like this is going to be the biggest game of the season or anything. It's not. You look at previous preseason games like week 2 against the Broncos last year. You have a handful of reps from your starting guys in there, not a ton, right? And I'm recognizing that, but you are going to see some big name guys get out there and get a few reps, right? Same thing from the season before. Of course, Brock Purdy at that point was not the starting quarterback, so he got a lot of reps, but you get the idea. There's going to be some guys out there that are some starters that are going to get a couple reps, and that's probably all you're going to see from starters in week 2 preseason. But we're going to see starters, and you wouldn't see starters in the Hall of Fame game probably. So this is kind of the NFL saying, if we're going to see starters, even just a few, this is the game that we're going to be betting on. 49ers faithful, they watch football games. They're going to be out there. They're a well-seasoned, intelligent fan base. They're going to be watching these games and be looking for interesting stuff. You also have additional elements for the 49ers, of course, that they have some exciting rookies to be looking out for. And I don't know about you. I mean, some of you guys I've seen you in the comments, you are diehard defensive guys. And so your defensive mind for the game is way more brilliant than mine. And so you'll be looking for the Malik Mustafas out there, the Ronaldo Greens out there, and that kind of thing, and psychoanalyzing every single thing that they do. And I'll leave some of that to the professionals. I'll be sure to keep you informed on what happens, but I'm going to be really excited to see guys like Ricky Pearsall, Jacob Cowing, Isaac Grendo out there getting reps and see what they can do against, non-starters. And that's always fun to watch. I look forward to that. And while we're on that topic, by the way, comment below. Let me know. Are you feeling more interested in preseason this year than last year? Or are you feeling the same, or are you feeling less? Because I'm just thinking there's going to be a really interesting QB2 battle. I think that'll be interesting to watch. Those are kind of good battles to watch in preseason versus training camp. Some of the battles are great in training camp. Some of the battles are great in preseason when they're real reps against real teams. And so I'm a fan of that. Pearsall, Cowing, of course, Isaac Grendo, I mentioned him too. I mean, there are some guys that I'm really looking forward to. So I'm feeling more interested in watching the preseason this year than I was previous seasons. But I want to know what you think. Are you more interested? Are you kind of at the same, preseason's preseason? I'll watch some. I don't know. And then there's, of course, less excited. Maybe you're, for some reason, feeling less interested in preseason this year. Let me know what you think. But there were some interesting comments I wanted to get to on Kyle Shanahan. I'll just do them real quick because we're already at 9 minutes here, and I like to try and keep these videos at about 10 minutes long. Kyle Shanahan did confirm that the 49ers offensive game plan is going to be the same despite the additions. So despite recent moves to bolster their wide receiver lineup, the San Francisco 49ers are not planning to overhaul their offensive strategy for the upcoming season. Head coach Kyle Shanahan has confirmed that the team will stick to its established offensive approach, even with the addition of new talent at receiver positions. Speculation that the team might shift because of those new additions to more 3 receiver sets to leverage their strengthened roster was then dispelled when Kyle Shanahan said, "No, I don't think we have a change in philosophy or on anything. You just keep you just named 5 receivers and you usually keep 6. Sometimes you can keep 5 and keep 3 on the practice squad. So that's kind of how the numbers work out. And we had a couple of guys who had been here for a while that we lost to free agency, and you have to replace those guys. Shanahan's comments made it clear that despite the new additions, the 49ers remain confident in their current game plan and do not plan to follow the league's trends toward more pass-heavy formations. And then, of course, on the tight end front, it won't be easy with Charlie and Ross gone, but we do have a group who have been here. That's also why we anticipated that could happen. That's why you invest in guys like Latu and Willis the year before and hope that they can get work so that they're ready to take over that role. And those are not the only tight ends that are going to be playing for the 49ers this season. So, yes, I'm feeling optimistic about this season, as always. And I'm really excited about preseason this year to get eyes on Pearsall against other defenders. It's going to be super, super interesting. Of course, we have training camp in like 39 days, something like that that we have to look forward to before that. But I am excited that the NFL is betting on the 49ers because so am I. I hope you are too. And this, I mean, just in general, I'm not talking about actually going and betting on the 49ers. If you do that, that's your call to do sports betting and all that good stuff. As always, 49ers faithful, what a time to be alive.